welcome to... Oh wait, I forgot. So it finally came in. The famous Grouse Red Ruby Cask. So if you're new to the channel, hello and welcome to Mr. Randy's Wine and Spirits. I am Mr. Randy. If you're a returning viewer, hello and welcome back. You know how we do. Come on in, let's get it on the road. So if you've been watching the channel, you've noticed that there was a few things put out about this bottle, about a little bit of a mix-up, a little kerfuffle, however you wish to say. But I received the wrong bottle. They sent me the regular famous Grouse. Now, when the Ruby Cask became available, I jumped on it. I said, yes, I'll pay for it. Send it to me, because that was the only way I was going to get it, is if it was shipped to me. Because it was a little bit of a drive away. So when it showed up, it was the original expression. So I called them and I said, hey, got a bit of an issue. Okay, so we rectified that. They said they did have it in the inventory, but wasn't on the shelf. Well, nobody there knew where it was except for the guy who ordered it, received it, but he never stocked it. Apparently it got covered by some other things. It was used as a pedestal for something or another. I don't know exactly, but it was in the back, stored away in the corner, forgotten about. So this is the famous Grouse Ruby Cask, smooth and rich. This is a cask series, port cask finish, blended Scotch whiskey. This famous Grouse is the #1 selling Scotch in Scotland. And the reason why is because it's readily accessible. It's very affordable. I think there's nothing else on that box to talk about. So we're going to go ahead and get on our first pour. So crack it open. So this is an off the rip episode. So this is a part 1 of a 3-part series where Mr. Randy does a full review of a whiskey or libation. Part 1 is off the rip. I get it home, crack it open as I just did, have the first pour as I just did, and I'm going to share my first impressions with you here, right now. Because there's no better place than here. There's no better time than now. So the second part of the video is going to be, when we come back, we're going to be halfway through this bottle. We're going to give that whiskey enough time and space to open up and see if anything gets better or worse. And I will go all over the interwebs for you to find as much information about this whiskey and or libation so that it's a little bit more of an entertainment value. I don't know. I washed this glass before the video, and I don't know if that's the problem. Should I let it dry out more? I just have this thing about washing it out before I use it, because, I mean, I have no cap on it or anything. Maybe I'll just put a towel or something over it, a napkin. So we're going to have part 3, where we're all the way down at the very bottom at the last pour, which thus is called the final pour. So that's the third and final part of the series, where we come back after all that time, several weeks, to find out if that final pour is anything like the middle or the first pour. And we discuss. So the nose is, I think the nose is relatively balanced between Scotch and port. So if you know Mr. Randy's channel, you've watched his videos, it's also in the name, Wine and Spirits. I was into wine for some years, took a break from drinking completely, came back, started with whiskey, bourbon, Maker's Mark. I drank Maker's Mark for like 7 years exclusively. I don't remember how many bottles I had of that, but I latched onto it because it was just, if you know the story, then that, you know how it is. But yeah, a friend of mine gave me a bottle of Maker's Mark. I guess he apparently got sick of it. And I was like, okay. So then I took a while to crack it open. And I didn't like it at first, but you know how it is. You get warmed up to it. You start drinking it more. And I was hung up on it. Maker's Mark was it. I kept going back to the stores, and that's all I would buy. I'm not saying that's bad. I'm saying that if you only drink something for so long, you'd get kind of like worn out. So let's go ahead. On the nose, very sweet. not very sweet. It's got like a, like I said, halfway between a good solid Scotch and the port. The port's not very dominant, but neither is the Scotch. More information on the next review, the full review. So let's get on the palate. There's like a weird, it's not like the nose. It's different. The nose is good, but the palate's different. Doesn't make it not good. It's still pretty good. Let me get one more on there real quick. Scott is very easy. Much like the original version. Well, this is definitely better than the original version. It has been some time since I've had the famous Grouse original expression. This has a sort of deep, rich sweetness. So if you're into port and you're into Scotch, this might be a good crossover. Now it does, like I said, it's only a 40%, but it's an easy drinker, that's for sure. It's got that sweetness from the port, that sort of sweet, rich deepness from the port, but it's also got that nice Scotch sort of like oaky sweetness. And it depends on the Scotch to start with. Then you go for the ruby, the port cask finish. This is actually pretty nice. Well, the good news is, if I get all the way through this bottle and I absolutely love it, I know exactly where to go to get 9 more bottles that nobody else seems to be buying. And it's only $20 a bottle out the door. I think this is being discontinued, or at least no longer carried by the stores in my area. If you see it regularly in your area, go ahead and drop that in the comments and let me know. I'd love to know. This is nice. I actually do like this better than the original one. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That is a very nice, inexpensive finished Scotch. Port finished Scotch. It's got like a deep, rich smoothness. And it's balanced. I think it's pretty balanced. But this is my first... Sorry, I had to back off for a moment there. Something flared up. Something flared up. I'm not sure what that was. But this is just my first pour, my first impressions. I don't think this is going to get bad. I hope it doesn't get worse. I hope it gets better. We all hope it gets better. But I'll see you back here at the halfway point, maybe in a couple weeks, for that full review. Hope to see you again. And as always, thanks for stopping by here at Mr. Randy's Wine and Spirits. You have a good one.